Interest rates are high. Do you or anybody that you know complain about this every day? I know I did. I was looking for a home and I couldn't believe that the interest rates were over 7% on 30-year fixes. We have, and I know a lot of people watching have grandchildren that want to buy a home or have a child that wants to buy a home one day, and we are getting screwed by the Fed right now. Interest rates are way too high, and this guy has got to go. We got big news to report on. Get ready for winning, ladies and gentlemen. Trump just dropped a hammer. Anna Paulina Luna is now reporting that she is hearing, and then she's also confirming later on in this post that Jerome Powell is getting fired from a very serious source. This is a congresswoman, sitting congresswoman, speaking about the Fed, and again, printing money. Again, I had to buy a house under this economy, under Jerome Powell. Wasn't very happy about that. I can't wait for the rates to be cut so Americans can start winning. And this guy has been holding people back. I mean, you guys know Trump's been speaking about this for a while, and Trump could not be any more happy about this news. This guy is going to be forced out. But again, take a listen to what Trump has to say, and then we're going to break down. But this guy has been so bad for this country. President Trump is right to call out absurd idea that Jerome Powell would justify spending $2.5 billion on a luxury headquarters updates when the Federal Reserve has been absolute mess. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Take a listen.
Well, I think if Jerome Powell stepped down, it would be a great thing. I don't know that he's going to, but he should. Jerome Powell's been very bad for our country. We should have the lowest interest rate on earth, and we don't. He just refuses to do it, and yet he's spending $2.5 billion rebuilding the Fed, the Federal Reserve building. And I don't know what he knows about building, but you talk about cost overrun. So he got this approved, and he started the work during the Biden administration. And he doesn't look like the kind of a guy, frankly, that wants to spend $2.5 billion. And it's very interesting because out of 71 economists, one person, me, and then one other person, I think from Wharton, got it right. And the others were all wrong in terms of the success of our country this quickly. We have no inflation. We have cash pouring in. It was me and somebody else. Then I can tell you, I don't need 5,000 people working for me behind the scenes like Jerome Powell to tell him what he should say once a month, because they got it wrong. The Fed got it wrong. I call him too late. He's always too late. Every point cost us $360 billion. Think of that. And we should be 3 points. That's almost $1 trillion. Approximately $1 trillion less we should be just with the signing of a piece of paper. So we'll see what happens. I mean, you're telling me he's going to quit. I hope he quits. I don't know that he's going to.
Yeah, so the amount of pressure has officially gotten to Jerome Powell. And again, Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna confirms the imminent firing of Fed Chair Jerome Powell. She says it's been confirmed. And ladies and gentlemen, that is big news for Americans. And again, Fed head Jerome Powell is getting fired. This comes after Trump's repeated displeasure with Powell, which stems from the president of the United States repeatedly urging the Fed to cut its key rate, which he says would save U.S. taxpayers billions of dollars, and especially when it comes to Social Security, when it comes to the Doge cuts. We got to talk about the Doge cuts. We got big news on that. So again, a lot of people, it's been hard out there with these, high rates, and it's time to cut the rate. But here we go. Billions of dollars on interest costs on the federal government's massive debt and boost the economy if they cut its key rate. The fight has threatened the Fed's traditional independence from politics, though, since the Supreme Court signaled the president can actually fire the chair. Financial markets haven't responded to Trump's criticism. So Powell also said that without tariffs, the Fed will probably be cutting its key rate right now. The central bank went on hold, he says, after it saw large Trump's proposed tariffs were how low they were proposed. Powell says that the economists began forecasting higher inflation, but guess what? He got it wrong. Inflation has not been high, not at all. So Trump's doubling down on the attack He targeted Powell and the entire Fed governing board, which participates in interest rate decisions. The board just sits and watches, so they are equally to blame, Trump said. The board, which is now being reported that, this might be one of the main reasons that Jerome Powell is out of here. As per the 1913 Federal Act, the Fed is meant to operate independently, shielded from any political pressure, including disagreements with the leaders over policies. But this was supported by the 1930s U.S. Supreme Court ruling, stating the Fed chair can only be removed for serious reasons, such as neglect of duty, misconduct, or inefficiency, which again are a part of Trump's arguments of why he should be out. Russell Morgan from the Morgan Legal Group stated that any attempt to fire Powell would likely trigger a protracted legal battle. But guess what? Doesn't look like that's going to get to that point. And it looks like we are coming to the end of that. Ladies and gentlemen, just in, President Trump demands Jerome Powell bring down the interest rates now after inflation report comes. Cool. So again, one of the main reasons that Jerome Powell and the Fed have not cut its key rate is because they have predicted that because of the tariffs, that inflation would be extremely high. But guess what? Inflation is lower than they could have imagined. So they got it wrong and Trump got it right. Consumer prices low, bring down the Fed rate. Bring them down or resign. Hundreds of billions going up in flames, especially with spending that much money in rebuilding the Fed. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you this video here from this time from the Treasury Secretary. Besson says that the Trump administration has formally started already looking for a Fed chair to replace Jerome Powell. Good. Powell is terrible and purposely trying to depress the U.S. economy. Trump has defeated all the odds. And again, bring down the rates. The rates are way too high. The rates are way too high. And Trump is saying unleash. Just unleash it all. This guy needs to go.
You said previously the interview process would begin later on in the fall. There's been plenty of speculation as to whether that process would be brought forward. Mr. Secretary, do you still, as far as you understand, believe that's when the interview process to replace the Fed chair will begin in the fall, or is a formal process already started?
Well, look, there's a formal process that's already starting. There are a lot of great candidates. And we'll see how rapidly it progresses. It's President Trump's decision, and it will move at his speed.
Do you see any merit at all in selecting maybe a candidate that's already on the committee on the FOMC versus taking a look at someone outside of the Federal Reserve?
Again, there are a lot of good candidates inside and outside the Federal Reserve, Jonathan.
Has the chairman himself, the Fed chair, Jay Powell, given you any indication whatsoever as to what he would do once his term has expired? Will he vacate his seat as the governor of the Federal Reserve?
Well, traditionally, the Fed chair also steps down as a governor, and there's been a lot of talk of a shadow Fed chair causing confusion in advance of his or her nomination. And I can tell you, I think it'd be very confusing for the market for a former Fed chair to stay on also.
Yes. And again, this raises the question. Jerome Powell is blowing $2.5 billion to remodel the Fed building while families can't get a decent mortgage under 7%. 7%. I mean, can we please cut? How many people are struggling to buy a home? How many young kids coming out of college who have a decent paying job can't get a home? The interest rates are terrible. Do you think Powell should be fired or lower the rates? He hasn't lowered them. And again, he said he doesn't want to lower them because of the tariffs and because of inflation coming in extremely hot. But guess what? It's come cool. Trump had just dropped the hammer. The Fed is out of here. What's about to happen next? Are we about to enter the golden age of America with lower interest rates?